Quick update on the Canelo Alvarez Julio Cesar Chavez fight. Um, I feel like I'm seeing all the weight stuff, and that's the thing with boxing that's a little bit annoying today. A lot of people they stress the weight thing too much. You know, people will give a breakdown of the fight and they talking about the weight the whole fight. Like, this guy's bigger than this. Can he make weight? This guy's bigger than that. A lot of people won't break down the actual skill set of the fighters no more. It's all about weight, and that's because we're living in, we're not living, but boxing is in the catch weight era right now, where you got guys fighting in all kind of weights, and you got guys at 147 fighting guys at 160, and you got guys from 130 calling out fighters that's fighting at 147. It's just we're in a time where everybody's just randomly fighting each other. Canelo, a guy that's been at 154, says he's not a middleweight. Now he's fighting a guy above middleweight. It's just weird, That's just what we're in. And now the fans and the media and they just can't even talk about fight without talking about the weight, Now I've been paying attention to the photos and the videos of these guys sparring and they're training and they're getting pumped up for the fight, and it's all cool. I think Chavez is taking things seriously. I think he's gonna make weight. I believe he will make weight. I think he's gonna be fine. Canelo is looking crazy. He looks jacked. He looks ready to go. He looks like he's training hard, like they both do. I think Chavez is taking it a little bit more serious than he normally does. But I like the fight. Listen, I love the fight. All right. I'm not Mexican, obviously, but I understand how big this fight is. All right. I think it's two of the most famous Mexican fighters that's actively boxing right now. All right. You have a son of an all-time great Mexican fighter against the superstar of today. Okay. The cash cow of today. Both Mexican fighters. I get why this fight is happening. Okay, it's gonna make a lot of money. All right, I don't know if they're gonna hit 1 million pay-per-view buys, but I don't think they'll be. I think maybe they can do what Canelo and Cotto did. Maybe a little less. Even if it was a little less, I think it's gonna be a little less than Cotto Canelo, but I think it'll be more than Khan Canelo. All right. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe 700, 800,000 dollars in pay-per-view buy range, whatever. But as far as the fight, I like the fight. Okay, I like Chavez Jr. for some reason, even though he's consistently get on my nerves. I don't know why. It's probably because his father. And I'm rooting for him to win, not only because I like him, because I like Canelo too, but he's the underdog. You know, Canelo is another guy that I like him. I think he's a very good fighter. It's just, I even think he's pound for pound. I think he's pound for pound. It's just, I get annoyed with Oscar and his, the opponents he picks, sometimes. I think the outcome of some of his fights, like Khan and Liam Smith, are so obvious. I don't even know why Liam Smith even got the opportunity to get the WBO title. But that's another story, right? I think that was all planned. If you just take your emotions and you take everything out of it, all right? Because I'm aware of what's happened with Golden Boy and the email scandal and all that. I never spoke on it, but I'm very aware of it. And it made me lose a lot of respect for Oscar because I was always a diehard Oscar De La Hoya fan coming up. I even picked Oscar to beat. Like, I even was rooting for Oscar against Felix Tito Trinidad, who I'm also a big fan of. I was that much of an Oscar De La Hoya fan growing up. And for all of that to get swept under the rug with the email thing, it was kind of disappointing. And this Oscar and his tactics with Canelo has been very disappointing. really lost a lot of respect. I really don't have any respect for Oscar. Even when he gives interviews now, it's just like everything he says is bullshit. I don't know what the hell happened to that guy, you know? But taking all emotions out of the equation here, if you look at Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and this is for the people that think Chavez is going to win because he's training hard. If you take Chavez Jr. and say he's at his prime, whenever you thought Chavez Jr. was at his prime, I guess maybe when he beat Andy Lee, was he ever really good on like Canelo's level? Was he ever that? You know? Was he ever on Canelo's level? If you take Canelo at his best, which he is right now, was he ever on Canelo's level? Even if you take the best of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., whatever the best performance you've ever seen him in, has he ever been as good as a Canelo Alvarez? I don't think so. Yeah, I might root for him. Yeah, because, I like him. I've been a fan of him. Obviously, I've been a fan of him before Canelo. But if I take everything and let's take my biases and everything, I've never looked at Chavez Jr. as being a talent like Canelo Alvarez. Even if you think Canelo is a little overrated, still, is Chavez Jr. more skilled than Canelo? Because everyone is stressing the size thing. The face-offs, and we see the size difference. And it's really not that different. If you take away the height, they're really not that different in size. But the skill sets are very different. Because from the outside, Chavez Jr. is not outboxing Canelo Alvarez. He might be a little bit more durable than the guys that Canelo usually facing. So that's always a plus because of his size. But Canelo still hits very, very hard. And this is the first time where weight won't be an issue for Canelo. Because now, people like to say his punch is going to be a factor at 164. Okay, well, how about his conditioning? Is it going to be better now that he's not have to stress his body by making weight at 154? Or 152 or 155? Now he's going to be making weight. Very comfortable making weight. Okay? Now he's not too far off from his natural weight. He could be a little bit slower, but maybe his conditioning might be a little better. Be a little bit better because his conditioning was never great. All right? So we don't really know how this weight thing is going to play out. Everybody has their ideas on what the weight is going to mean and the size and this. And I'm like, all right, besides saying Chavez Jr. is obviously bigger, what other advantages does Chavez Jr. have right now? What else does he have? Look at his last fight. Not the fight against Fafara, but the fight that he had recently. Do you think that guy could beat Canelo Alvarez? From a skills standpoint? I don't think so. Why would anyone think so? I don't know, man. I think it's a good fight. I think, if we look at it like Chavez Jr., if he can't outbox Canelo on the inside, he's gonna come in, and he's good at doing that. He's good at keeping that tight defense, high guard, and walking in and getting on the inside. He can do it. Possibly get Canelo against the ropes. But do you really want to be on the inside with Canelo Alvarez? That's what Canelo is best at. He's a good fighter on the outside. He'll knock you out from out there, but do you really want to be on the inside with this guy? I don't know. We have to see. I think Canelo's gonna dominate Chavez Jr. I think he's gonna dominate him. If it's a good fight, that'll be great because even if Chavez loses, if he's able to make a good fight out of it or possibly win, I'll be happy. But this guy Canelo is going to be prepared for this fight. Let's not just focus all on Chavez Jr. because we're all happy that he's making weight and taking this training seriously. That's great. But on a skill, if we're talking about skills alone, does Chavez Jr. have Canelo Alvarez skills? No, he doesn't. So let's stop talking about weight all day and this guy's bigger and this guy's coming down to this weight and this guy's going up to that weight. Let's stop doing that every single video. Let's talk about who's actually more skillful in the fight. Canelo's far more skillful. Inside game, outside game, hand speed. I still might even give Canelo the power. You know, Chavez hits hard, but Canelo has one punch knockout power. That guy has thudding power. Like, he hits hard. He has serious power, okay? He hits you, you hear it from across the freaking sea. Like, you hear his power. You know what I'm saying? That guy got serious power. And Chavez don't have the best defense in the world. I think Canelo's going to dominate. I'm excited to see the fight. You know, I just don't think Chavez is really realistically going to win this fight. You know, I want him to, but I just doubt it. All right. I would love him to win just to disrupt this whole mess with the Canelo thing. Let's just disrupt that thing because I don't know, man. I don't like the way they moving over there. And I don't really think it's Canelo. I think it's Oscar. I think if Canelo, if it was really up to him, I think he'd fight, you know, the best. But I don't know. I think Oscar over there playing too many games, pulling too many strings. That's just my opinion. All right? That has nothing to do with the fight itself. I think Canelo's going to dominate this one. All right? So let me know what you guys think. That's just a quick update on the fight. All right, peace.